I woke up to the sound of a woman crying inside my room. But when I turned on the light, the room was empty. This happened in 2019. I had just lost my job in Lagos, and my uncle told me I could stay in his old house in Enugu for a while. It was free, and I was broke. I didn't care that people said the house was not clean. I thought they meant dirty, not haunted. The house was old but big. Cracked walls, broken ceiling fans, windows that made a weird whistling noise when the wind blew. The air inside smelled damp, like something had been trapped there for years. But it was quiet. I liked that. Until the first night. It started around 2:30 a.m. I heard crying. Faint. Like a woman sobbing behind a closed door. I thought maybe someone was outside, so I got up and checked. Nothing. The compound gate was locked from the inside. No one was there. When I went back to my room, the crying started again. Louder. It was coming from the corner of my room. I turned on my phone flashlight, my hand shaking. The beam moved across the floor and stopped at nothing. Just an old chair and my bag. The crying stopped. And right when I sighed in relief, something whispered my name. Emeka. I froze. My heart started pounding like it wanted to run out of my chest. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat on the bed till morning. The next day, I asked the old woman next door if she ever had crying at night. She just stared at me for a long time and said, "You are sleeping in Chidinma's room, aren't you?" I asked who that was. She hissed, shook her head, and said quietly, "Don't talk about her. Just lock your door and pray before you sleep." I tried to laugh it off. Maybe she was just trying to scare me. The second night was worse. The power went off around midnight. I used my phone flashlight again, scrolling through Instagram to distract myself. Around 3 a.m., I heard water dripping somewhere. Tap, tap, tap. But there was no tap in that room. Then the crying started again. This time, it sounded like she was right behind me. "Please, help me find him." I jumped off the bed. My flashlight slipped from my hand and hit the floor, but the light stayed on. That's when I saw her. A young woman. Her face was pale, almost gray. Her clothes soaked like she'd been in a river. Her hair stuck to her skin, dripping. Her eyes were red, not from makeup or anything human. It looked like blood. She was holding a small white cloth in her hands. A baby's cloth. She looked at me, crying softly. "Please," she said, "help me find my baby." I couldn't move. My body refused. She stepped closer. The floor creaked. I smelled something awful, like rotten water and smoke. Then she whispered, "He was crying, just like you." The light flickered and went off. I screamed and ran outside barefoot. I slept in my uncle's car that night. The next morning, I went back in with my uncle. I told him everything. He didn't even look surprised. He said, "You saw her." I said, "Who?" He said, "Chidinma." He told me the story. Many years ago, a young woman named Chidinma lived in that house. Her husband left her after she got pregnant. She gave birth alone during a storm. The baby didn't survive. When neighbors found her, she was sitting in that same room, holding the dead baby, rocking back and forth, whispering lullabies. She drowned herself in the river behind the house a few days later. Since then, people who sleep in her room hear her crying for her child. Some say they see her wet footprints leading from the back door to the room. My uncle said, "I warned you. That's why no one stays here." I told him I wanted to leave that same day. He agreed. Before I left, I went into the room one last time to pack my bag. The air felt cold and heavy. The corner where she appeared looked darker than the rest of the room. As I turned to go, I noticed something on the chair. A small white baby's cloth. Just like the one she was holding. I didn't touch it. I just ran. That was 6 years ago. Sometimes, when I wake up at night, I still hear a woman crying faintly. Once, I even heard her whisper my name again. And I swear, when it rains, I can smell that same rotten river smell, even in Lagos. If you ever go to Enugu, and someone offers you a free house near the river, don't take it. Because when Chidinma cries, she's not crying for her baby anymore. She's crying for you.